Too close for comfort or just the right amount of scared the fuck out of me? Listen, the Phoenix Suns, a win, a win, a win. And a win was a win tonight against the Denver Nuggets at home. Knowing that Denver didn't start 4 of their starters, knowing that only Aaron Gordon was out there, they waxed them. They were up by 20 at halftime. Next thing you know, they give up a 27-point lead, and all of a sudden this one got a little interesting. And a game that was very kind of uninteresting became, I wouldn't say problematic. I wouldn't say shocking. I'd say it's kind of this is what happens in the NBA. But ultimately, the Phoenix Suns win, a vital win, their 4th consecutive win. They end March with a 9-6 record, and they find themselves comfortably in the 4 seed in the Western Conference. So for those of you who are used to watching the Suns Jam Session podcast, welcome. You're used to this. This is where you come to watch your post-game pods. If you like hanging out with Suns Geek, well, we're doing something a little different here today. One, Matthew's not here. No migraines. He's being a good uncle. Okay, he took our nephew to his first Coyotes game tonight, and he got a little puck side or court side or ring side, whatever they call it there. I don't watch the hockeys, so he's not there. But I am joined on my channel, Suns Jam Session, and on his channel, on the Suns Geeks channel, we're doing this cross-pollination thing. Brandon, what's going on?
What's up, man? Finally, StreamYard, thank you for allowing us to do this. Thank you, John, for allowing me to do this with you. It is an honor and a pleasure. Too close for comfort tonight, but damn it, I'm still in a good mood. We got the win. I'm so excited for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, 1, it was a weird game, and 2, it's weird because it's the first time when we've talked about kind of doing these kind of things in the past where it's like, okay, you go on my podcast and I'll go on your channel and we'll just we like collaborating together. And StreamYard, who is the service that we utilize to push a lot of our content out there, especially the live content, kind of has this ability to do so. It's something that I did with Coach Evan B on the He's on Fire podcast during our last pod. So if you're listening to the pod, always, subscribe, rate, and review. Head on over to our YouTube page and click the like button. And if you're watching on Suns Geeks channel, I mean, you tell them what to do with that Hulk smashing shit that you do over there.
If you guys are watching on either of our channels, Hulk smash that like button, y'all. Let's do this.
We appreciate it. So a lot to talk about in this game, in a game in which it was kind of a ho-hum. Okay, not much to really get excited about. This should be a win. I think we would be talking with a lot different tone had they end up choking this game away, which they tried to, but we'll talk about that and plenty more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast and Suns Geek post-game thingamabob. I don't know, like
Suns Geek post-game, who knows, live show, live chat, whatever I'm in the mood for.
Well, I'm going to play my intro. This will be the last time that you guys see the intro with the Basketball Podcast Network at the front end. The Basketball Podcast Network just disbanded today. So this will be our last one on their platform. You'll still be able to get our podcast where you always do. Nothing's changing there. It just means that we're not a part of a bigger basketball podcast network, and you don't have to watch any of those DraftKings ads of me and Matthew dribbling the ball around while I talk about putting $10 and using promo code TBPN. So we're gonna pop them if we got them. Are you drinking anything with me tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my guy DJ Ocho. He sent me these at Stone Cold.
Yeah, I saw you drinking those on your channel. I think those are badass. I just got a Coors Light because I'm just a peasant folk. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. Oh man, that sounds good. And let's talk about this pretty big win for the Suns. You needed this one.
Oh yeah.
Suns beat Denver Nuggets at home by a final score of 100-93. After going up 20 points in the first half, they're outscored 34-24 in the third quarter. And the Phoenix Suns only scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, they end with only 40 points in the second half. And when you take a look at kind of how everything started, right? The Denver Nuggets sit Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was out with a non-COVID illness. They sit Nikola Jokic, who was out with right calf tightness, and then both Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were out with injury management. So starting just knowing that pregame, Suns Geek, were you disappointed with the fact that we weren't going to see kind of the A squad from the Nuggets, or was it just like, you know what? I don't care. Thanks for the free win, especially considering the Clippers lost tonight.
I'm going to answer both, and here's why. Because obviously, this was Kevin Durant's 5th game with the Phoenix Suns, so we want to see Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns play at their best against the very best, especially in the Western Conference. But at the same time, I'll go back to what I said earlier. This was Kevin Durant's 5th game with the Phoenix Suns, so I'll take any amount of minutes, any amount of reps, any amount of games with Kevin Durant. So, sort of, to answer your question, both. Again, this would have been a completely different ball game, and we'd be having a completely different conversation if even just Nikola Jokic played tonight. But you know what? This is basketball, man, and I don't understand basketball anymore because, as I tweeted out earlier, no lead is safe in the NBA, and the third quarter was a huge example of that. And we're probably going to dive into it and everything, but it was honestly on both teams. It was on the Phoenix Suns just letting their foot off of the gas, but it was also the Denver Nuggets who go to show how deep they are and that they can hit shots. And when you turn the ball over, I mean, you have a chance to score, and that's exactly what they did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Eddie Johnson reminds us constantly on the broadcast that with the 24-second shot clock, this era and the way that teams shoot threes efficiently and effectively, no lead is truly safe.
Yeah.
But when you look at kind of that lineup that's out, I understand it, right? You got to think back that this is, and the Denver Nuggets are a team that are the Phoenix Suns last year and the Utah Jazz the year before. Okay, they've all but locked up the 1 seed. The only reason why I thought it was a little strange that they didn't put forth more of an effort right now, knowing that they have to play Phoenix next week in Phoenix. Okay, the Suns, their last 3 games, it's Denver, Lakers, Clippers, right? The only reason I was surprised they didn't make more of an effort is entering this game after Memphis beat the Los Angeles Clippers tonight. They only have a 2.5 game lead over the Memphis Grizzlies for the 1 seed. Now, that being said, Denver does hold the tiebreaker over Memphis. They beat them 2 out of 3 times. So it's more than just a 2.5 game lead. And if they lose this game, which they did, it's a 2 game lead over Memphis with, I think they both have 5 to play. If it's 5, yeah, I think it's 5 to play. So it's like they'd have to lose, 3 and win 2, and and Memphis would have to do the exact opposite. But essentially Memphis would have to win 1 extra game. So they were gambling a little bit there. And the other side of this that you have to think about is, given the way that the playoffs are currently structured, if the Phoenix Suns end with the 4 seed, which is increasingly likely, and whoever they play in the first round, upon beating them, who would they play in the second round? These Denver Nuggets. So why in any way, shape, or form would you tip any of your hand against a team you could potentially play in the second round? Take it as a rest day. It's the second night of a back-to-back. Everything pointed to them not playing any of these guys. And I know it was kind of talked about earlier in the day. If you were on the Twitter spheres, you were seeing that they might hold some of these guys out there questionable and things of that nature. So coming into this, and I typically have this conversation with like Matthew. And Matthew gets disappointed sometimes because we're not playing against a full squad, because you always want to know who you're measuring up against. And as you mentioned, with Kevin Durant here and being only his 5th game with Phoenix and us being healthy, I mean, you put out
that little short TikTok thing.
The short on TikTok, on Suns Geek's TikTok channel, you're talking about, it's like, this is the first time like we have a clean bill of health.
Yep.
Entering a game. So everything that we have is there, and it'd be nice to test that against the best team in the Western Conference. But a win is a win is a win, man.
Yeah, and we need it, man. I mean, you were talking about the standings and all these tiebreakers, and I like to use the word fragile this year. I mean, the standings are so fragile. When the stinky Lakers are in the 7th seed right now, at least last time I checked, that goes to show how crazy the standings are. And me, John, I feel like I'm an NBA historian. I've studied the history of this league. I don't know if I've ever seen this. I mean, every day the standings are different. 2 losses in a row and you're dropping. It is insane, man.
I've seen it where it's happening kind of in the middle or at the end, right. But because of the play-in, it's changed obviously the entire aspect of the NBA. But to your point, it's like it's 4 seed to 10 seed.
Yeah,
It's not like 7, 8, and 9 seed is flipping, and if you're 2, you're out of the playoffs. And we've seen some historic chokes in that manner. But this is unbelievable, and that's why this win, it's almost gift wrapped to you. And to your point, we can talk about the third a little bit, but I think we should start simply by talking about the fact that the team is now 5-0 with Kevin Durant, and what we saw from him, especially considering how he struggled in his last game shooting wise. I mean, Kevin looked amazing in this game.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Efficient tonight, Kevin Durant. 30 points on 11 of 15 shooting, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 1 steal. You take a look at that stat line, Suns Geek, and you just got to be happy. I mean, 12 points in the first quarter, 4 of 4 shooting. Was there any worry following his sub-Durant outing against the Wolves that he couldn't rebound and play like this tonight?
Absolutely not, because this is Kevin freaking Durant. And I talked about it on my live show last time, when we beat the Timberwolves. I said, you know what? Kevin Durant can take a night off. And if he I think he finished with 16, 8, and 4 last game. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And then he hit those 2 clutch threes kind of late in the fourth quarter. I'm like, I am fine with that. Kevin Durant was absolutely incredible tonight, not just offensively, although he only missed 4 shots, by the way, which is incredible. When's the last time a Suns player did that on 30 points scored? But my point is that even defensively, he was incredible. And even though he had 2 assists, I thought the playmaking was really good. Even last game, I thought the playmaking was good. Even if it was just Kevin Durant getting the ball, slowing things down a little bit, or that little outlet pass that him and Booker seem to be doing, because that's now twice now, where one of them will cherry pick, and then they just dish it down court. Kevin Durant was absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's literally, besides maybe 3 turnovers, there's nothing to nitpick about. And that's not even a big deal. You're going to turn the ball over when you're having fun out there. At least in the first half, they were having fun. He was amazing.
They're getting careless a little bit in that second half.
He was reminding people, he's like, hey, I'm still one of the best players in the NBA, man. He was incredible. I mean, you saw exactly what I saw. All those mid-range shots, especially that one little one-legged Dirk-like floater. That was amazing, man. Just he got anything he wanted out there. And just even though there were some good contests out there and good attempts to try to stop him, didn't matter who was on him, didn't matter who was guarding him. That ball was going in.
Dude, we got Kevin Durant on our team.
Exactly.
It's so much fun to watch basketball. I get so excited to watch games just knowing that I get to watch Kevin Durant night in and night out play for my team. Obviously, this is the second game that he's been back. I mean, he was acquired by the Phoenix Suns, back in February. And then I think it was like February 8th, February 9th.
A lifetime ago.
Yeah,
and it was only almost, a month or so ago.
It's almost 2 months ago.
Yeah,
so it's like, it's still a very, very new feeling for all of us Suns fans to watch him out there. And it's the ease in which he scores.
Yep.
When we watch Devin Booker, as amazing as he is, he pulls off some acrobatic shit to get those points to fall for him. And he's got to earn every point and then some sometimes. Yeah. With Kevin Durant, it's just so easy. It's like you said, a quick little jab step, and he's doing a Dirk 18-foot fadeaway. He's hitting those wide open threes early in the game. He's doing a fadeaway on the left block, fading away. I mean, it's like he's doing things that you're just like, fuck, man, we got Kevin Durant on our team. And the advantage of that is every time you need a bucket, you got a guy who can just straight up get. And that's not to say Devin Booker hasn't been that guy, but now you got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's so much better than Booker, and Devin Booker's fucking good. So it's exciting to watch and to see how free-flowing the game was coming to him, and how, from a chemistry standpoint, he's already blended into the team. And we know this because we saw it during our 3-game winning streak with him before. It's like, oh shit, plug and play. This is fun, right?
Exactly, man. And that's why I referenced the whole Devin Booker and him are kind of doing this little cherry pick thing. But I just saw I think Kevin Durant's first points of this game were a 3 off a nice little ball movement. But then Kevin Durant was posting up Christian Braun, however he pronounced his name, posting up, taking his time, fading away. It was just beautiful, man. And like you said, plug and play. Like we knew that, I think, after the second game. Like he just clicks especially with Devin Booker. Now, don't get me
Yes.
wrong. There were some times throughout this game where you can kind of tell, okay, he's still learning the chemistry with certain guys here and there. But with Devin Booker, man, it's like having another Booker out there, but on steroids, if you will.
Yes.
It is incredible. And the way that you were talking about how Kevin Durant scores, it's just like 10 times, and I mean this respectfully, it's just 10 times easier and more efficient and more experienced than Devin Booker. It was so flawless tonight. It was amazing, man.
It's flawless. It's fluid, and it adds extra aspects to the Suns' offense. I mean, one thing that I noticed is in the second quarter, due to his effectiveness, Devin Booker got extra rest.
Yes,
and that's unbelievably valuable.
Huge.
Not just right now, but come playoff time, that's going to be even more valuable because the schedule gets so tough simply because you're playing every other night. And the other thing that I thought was interesting, there was one play where Chris Paul passes the ball down to Kevin Durant on the block, and he's posting up. And Reggie Jackson comes over to help, and it kind of disrupts the play. And Kevin Durant passes the ball right out, and Chris Paul throws it right back at him because as he's passing the ball out, Reggie Jackson has to reset on defense.
Right.
And he passes it right back to Durant, and then Durant, posts up and scores.
Yep.
And we don't get that from Deandre Ayton. He's not a post player. He doesn't navigate the post correctly. You throw it down there to DA, and he just looks lost. Whereas Kevin Durant's like, boom, boom, here comes a double. Okay, get rid of this. Okay,
doesn't matter who's on me.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. And that's the advantage. When in AZ says in the chat, helps to be 7 feet. Yes, it does. Helps to be like DeAndre Ayton's size, but with Devin Booker's abilities. Like that's what Kevin Durant is. And we're starting to see that night in and night out. Again, you look at the final score, it's 100 points for the Phoenix Suns to 93. And had they stayed focused, I feel, had they stayed as engaged as they were in the first half, it would have been a much different story. I mean, this team had 60 points at
the first
halftime.
half.
Yeah. I mean, on normal pace, that's $120. But when you start
God.
to turn the ball over in the second half, when you start to lose a little bit of the focus, because to your point, they were starting to have a little too much fun out there, right? They are sitting there running plays that, Kyler Murray should be running for the Arizona Cardinals. They're running wheel routes and trying to hit these long passes. They're getting intercepted. They're kind of taking themselves out of the game. But knowing that you have that person, Kevin Durant, we know who he is just it's a settling feeling. And I'll talk about it a little bit later in the subreddit Stakeout. For those of you who are on the Suns Geek channel, it's something we do on the Suns Jam session where I hang out during the subreddit of the opposing team just to hear what they're saying. And a lot of the things they're saying is, they're happy because this is the third team squad and they competed tonight. And so I ask you that question. Denver is a scary team. Okay, this is the team that's been the best in the Western Conference pretty much the entire season, right? Phoenix was there at the front end of the season after a really hot start in the first 2 months. Injuries hit us. We fell down. Denver stepped up. They've been healthy for the most part all season. But seeing their second and third team perform the way that they did tonight with the grit, with the perseverance. I was going to say perseverance and resiliency. I combined the two. What's your take on Denver right now? Does this even matter?
A little. I think more for Denver, and that's kind of why I referenced referenced it earlier. I was like, this was sort of on both teams tonight. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, let's be real. The Nuggets have won 51 games this year. You kind of said it like they're the Suns of last year, the Jazz the year before that. And I'm sure we can compare this Nuggets team to teams in the past. And as we kind of saw tonight, they are incredible on offense. They are really good on offense, especially when you're literally handing them the ball. But and they have depth. They have guys that I haven't even really heard of or don't know too much about. And I feel like I know this league pretty damn well. But they got themselves a good team. Mike Malone is a great defensive-minded coach who also knows the game really well. But yeah, they're solid, man. And I've been saying this even before we got Kevin Durant. I was saying, I don't know who we're going to verse in the playoffs and all that. I don't know what the players are going to look like, but it is going to be tough no matter what. Even if we verse the Clippers, like if it stays 4-5, even with Paul George's status up in the air, which by the way, I hope he's okay because that was a scary injury.
Yes,
it's still going to be tough, man. But if we can do exactly what we did in that first half for just 40 minutes, man, we are going to be tough to beat. And when some of our bench guys, I've been talking about this so much on my channel, man, when some of those bench guys actually start to get the 3-ball to go down, looking at you, Damian Lee, we are going to be tough to beat. I mean, can you imagine
Damian
this
Lee,
first? I was
you
just
can
going to say,
kiss his minutes goodbye. He's gone.
I was
He's
just
not
going
going
to
to be
say,
playing.
if you could take this first half and then mix it with what we've kind of seen the bench do the past few games in a playoff game, it's over.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Damian Lee has been very disappointing.
Well, they talked about it a little bit, you know. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll give him the drop right now. I think he's earned it. TJ, War Machine. Really happy that Monty Williams has given TJ Warren a chance, because when TJ first came over from Brooklyn, he was buried in the bench. Damian Lee, Ish Wainwright, these guys were getting more playing time than TJ Warren. And tonight, he only had 4 points in 16 minutes, but he had 6 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive side. He had 2 steals. He had a block. He had 3 assists. TJ Warren is a very, very solid sixth man who can score when you need him to. And he's experienced in this league, which is everybody on the team, right? Like everybody on the team. There's no rookies out there, right? You know, Ish Wainwright's probably the least experienced guy on the team. Damian Lee's got a championship, you know, but
Darius Baisley's been to the playoffs with Chris Paul, by the way.
I forgot about Darius Baisley, to be honest. You know, but that being said, you know, is Matthew trying to come in?
I know. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening?
What's going on here? He's gone.
You're getting hacked.
I don't know what's going on. This cross stream thing it's getting all crazy. You know, but again, I don't think that, you know, what we're seeing right now is Monty is solidifying those rotations. And you are going to see the Damian Lees, the Ish Wainwrights, the Landry Shamits of the world just simply not get playing time. They're going to be, you know, used in emergency case only. If Terrence Ross, who's been getting minutes as well, isn't playing well for a stretch, or if there's certain matchups come playoff time that you feel like Landry Shamet can give you some minutes that are going to be beneficial, or you need a little bit of more size and physicality in Ish Wainwright. But for the most part, what we're seeing is what those rotations are looking like. TJ Warren's is the first guy coming off the bench. Tory Craig is coming on off the bench. Terrence Ross, Cameron Payne, and then Bismack. Like, that's the backup 5. So, I mean, Suns fans, you got to accept that. Yeah. And you got to, every time something like this happens, when there's a little kind of hiccup in a game, you can't be like, just play all 15 guys. Just keep, because it's not the way it works in the NBA, especially as you head into the playoffs. It's not 2K. It's not 2K. Matthew Lissy.
Hey, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you this time. Cool. What's going on, man? How was the Coyotes game?
Oh, it was cool. Mullet Arena. It's pretty amazing. It's tiny, and professional hockey players like right in front of you. I actually got a puck.
Yeah, I saw Eric had one.
Yeah, we got a puck. We didn't finish the game. About 10 minutes left, they started losing by 2, so we just got out of there. But it was awesome, dude. Hockey's the game to go to, like, for regular season.
Some loyal fans, man.
Basketball's good, but like basketball's fun, but hockey's just insane. Good time.
I just can't say any of their names.
No, actually, there was some Smiths.
It's all consonant. There was a Smith out there. Okay, well, I can say that one.
Yeah. No, it was cool, man.
Well, cool. So, what are your thoughts on the game tonight?
Oh, it was good. Right? Yeah. It was a good game. Actually, when I was watching on my phone, I was like, wow, they're just going to blow them out. I look back, they're like only up by like 5. Yeah. I was like, okay. Well, it looked like the bench, right? This is not what I want to do to the pod. I don't want to ruin it by saying like, oh, well, what was it, guys? Tell me, because I'm pretty sure you just talked for 20 minutes about what it was. How awesome
we just talked about Kevin Durant was. Yeah.
I was listening. I was like, all I heard was, fuck, we have Kevin Durant. We have Kevin Durant. This is awesome. So
it's like, Kevin Durant, you know who he is. So we're just talking kind of about playoff rotations. You know, TJ Warren is the one who's been coming off the bench. I like what I saw from him tonight, from his rebounding. Again, you're not getting a lot of offense on him or from him, you know, but you know, Brandon, what are your thoughts on guys starting to get buried from the bench? Should Suns fans panic if they're not seeing Damian Lee?
Well, I'm going to jump off something or piggyback off something that you said, that, you know, especially when it comes to matchups. And I know both of you guys know this, but that is exactly what Monty Williams has said multiple times. And he's going to say it multiple times throughout the rest of the season and during the playoffs. It all depends on matchups, because you referenced like a Landry Shamet might jump in there for a few minutes depending on the matchup, because he provides good minutes. Even if his shot is missing, he provides some good minutes. But TJ Warren, man, I think he has been great out there. He just tries, even if like tonight, 4 points, like I'll take it because he tries on defense. He has experience. He has a little experience with Kevin Durant, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Like I will take it. But to answer the question, guys getting buried on the bench. If I know this Suns team, like I believe I know this Suns team, there's no egos, you know? I mean, you're not going to see like an Ish Wainwright or Jock Landale complain about minutes and say, oh, I want off this team next year. They didn't play me during the late stretch of the season and all that. That's not how I believe this team really is. This team wants to win. But at the same time, these guys want to play and they're going to take any minutes they can get. And it's kind of like sort of like with the whole I guess I could say the injuries right now and the what's the word they call it? Load management.
Load management.
I don't believe the Suns even know what that even means. Like these guys want to play even if they're banged up and all that. So I don't really know if that really answers your question, but I just believe these guys do want to play, but they're also not going to get pissed off if they don't play.
Yeah, it's egoless basketball, if you will. And you know, that's what draws people to this team and to the culture that's been built. Like, for example, you talk about I don't know, like Terrence Ross tonight, right? Terrence Ross is somebody who
he's been cooking.
But he had no points.
Yeah.
He had no points in the last game. You know, he's a badass rapper.
What's the matter, dog? You with Terrence? This guy's a gangster? His real name?
Terrence.
He's the home with both parents.
Terrence.
Parents have a real good marriage.
But he came to play here instead of Dallas because he wanted to be part of egoless basketball. He didn't want to be a part of that Kyrie Luka shit show. How did you like that that new deep fake drop, Matthew?
Yeah, that was good, man. I was
oh man.
At first I was like, wait, I'm like, this looks familiar. I'm like, oh yeah, it's 8 Mile.
It's 8 Mile.
Top 10 movie right there, right? When it came out, I was like, that was actually a good movie. So there's a lot of Craig hate in there. Did you guys talk about Craig at all? I know you just brought up Ross.
Yeah.
Craig and Ross, and even TJ. TJ took a while to warm up, but Ross, he is too. I mean, he got a little bit of a taste of, I'm a starter. I'm going to get all these basically starter minutes. He was playing a lot of minutes, getting really warmed up. Now he has to go back to the bench. Just like Craig, they take a while to get used to that gig. They really do. Because every time on this podcast, we come on after those games where Craig is terrible, and it might be 2 or 3 in a row. We're like, this guy, he sucks. Don't play him anymore. Start warring over him. I just saw that too. It's like, you know what? They just need some time. They really do. These guys have done a lot this year, being Craig, just really Craig and Okogie too. But Okogie's already solidified himself as a starter. But Craig just needs time. He does, and it's like the same thing I say all the time. He's gonna have really bad games, and then once he gets used to that gig on the bench, hopefully it's just that way for maybe 5 or 6 games in a row, and there's no injuries. He'll be fine. He's gonna be a big factor in the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely.
And the one thing that I have noticed from Craig, and it's only right if you play the Tory Craig drop for him.
What's up?
If you're somebody who's watching on Suns Geek channel, this is what we do over on the Jam Session. Every time we talk about a guy, we play a stupid video. It gives us a chance to take a swig of beer. But with Tory Craig, one thing I've noticed the last 2 games, okay, you look at stat line tonight, and the bench was fucking horrible tonight, right? Like he scored 100 points. From the bench, total of 9, 12, 16 points. Campaign, 0 for. Terrence Ross, 0 for. Tory Craig was 1 of 3 from the field. That one field goal was a 3-pointer, but he had 6 rebounds. And I'll say this, the last couple games, I've noticed his aggression on the boards. He's done that like every now and then. Tory Craig will just do one of those ones where he jumps up, just grabs the shit out of the ball. You know what I'm saying? And
Okogie type rebound.
Yeah, Okogie type rebounds. It's good. Yeah. It's a good way to put it. And that's him. That's how I see him starting to get more comfortable in his role again and being like, okay, I'm no longer the 4 on this team. I'm no longer the starting 4. I've put in my penance, if you will, for this Phoenix Suns team this season. Tory Craig entering tonight, he's started 59 games for the Phoenix Suns. Okay, it's the most easily he's ever started for any team in his career. His previous high was his second season in the league with the Denver Nuggets when he started 37 games. So he started 59. He's held this team together from a starting four standpoint, while we've navigated injuries, while we've navigated transactions, and now he's going to, for these last 5 games, 6 including tonight, get reacclimated to getting back on the bench, understanding where his spacing is, understanding what his role is, and acclimatizing to that. He has physicality, he has reboundability, and that is going to be unbelievably vital to this team in the postseason, because there's nothing worse than the second team unit of the opposition grabbing an offensive rebound and getting an extra possession. And then, because you know what happens every fucking time that happens, it's a 3-ball. And those are killers in the playoffs.
That was the one thing I looked at the game when I went to the bathroom. I was like, what's the rebound situation? And you mentioned Warren. And I think I talked about it a few pods ago, like how appreciated he is in a way where he can grab those boards. It's not Okogie-like, but he gets in there.
Yeah.
And Craig does the same thing. So you guys are going to be really happy we have these guys on the team in the playoffs, because they're the ones that are going to go in and do the dirty work, right? I mean, when you're on the floor with Kevin Durant, who kind of wants to stay away from that stuff because you don't want him to get hurt, they'll do it for him, right? They'll get in there.
51-50. They beat us by 1 in the rebounding battles. And again, it wasn't the greatest night for Deandre Ayton, which I'm sure we're going to talk about later, but I know that those rebounds are going to be there. And I've been kind of nitpicky about our rebounding this year, but I feel like the stats always prove me wrong. Like, we're always a better rebounding team than I assume. But I just think for me, it's just gang rebounding. I want to see more of that. But with the way the Suns play and the way that the NBA is nowadays, it's only a few teams really do that. But like you mentioned with TJ Warren, he can quietly get those boards. Tory Craig, especially when we were injured and he was starting for us, he is an incredible rebounder. And then did you guys see that Josh Okogie rebound late in the fourth quarter?
That was huge. That was huge.
He is an incredible rebounder, and that's things we got to be excited for, because we got guys like you both mentioned that do the dirty work and will get those boards.
And you look at the Phoenix Suns relative to rebounds this season, kind of talking to Suns Geek's, skewed vision of it. We're 22nd in the league in defensive rebounding, but we're 6th in the league in offensive rebounding, which it might not always feel like, right?
Makes no sense.
And overall, we're 10th in the league in rebounding, and we're 12th in opposing rebounds. We average 44.1. The opposing team averages 42.6. Now, tonight, we out-rebounded the Denver Nuggets 30-22 in the first half. And there's no surprise that the Phoenix Suns are up by 20 points because of that reason. And then, obviously, in the second half, we're out-rebounded 29-20. And second chance points start to increase for the Denver Nuggets. Points off turnovers was absolutely horrendous for the Phoenix Suns in the second half. The Suns gave up, just possession after possession. They were just kind of throwing the ball away, which allowed the opposition in the Denver Nuggets to chip away at the lead. But again, when you talk about Josh Okogie, and Matthew, I might change my tune a little bit on this one.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that gun of yours?
So I think tonight is the first night where I actually am starting to agree with Matthew. So there's this debate that we have consistently over the past couple weeks about who should be the 5th starter for the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it because, Brandon, I'd love to get your point of view on this. Everyone who's been on the show over the past week, I've gotten their point of view on it, from Gavin from the Aussie Suns Fan Podcast to Coach Evan B from the He's on Fire podcast. I want to get their point of view. And I'll explain my bias clearly at the end of this. So I believe that Josh Okogie should be part of the second team unit because he is one of the worst catch and shoot 3-point shooters on our team post All-Star break. He's shooting about 31% on catch and shoot threes, whereas you have TJ Warren and Terrence Ross, who are both plus 40% plus catch and shoot 3-point shooters. So why not, from a starting standpoint, put one of those guys with the starting 5, knowing that the gravity of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton will pull their defenders away from them, and they are just going to be doing catch and shoot threes. tonight is the first night where I go, and Matthew is of the thinking, no, J.O. should be in there, right? And tonight's the first night that I was kind of thinking, you know what, maybe Matthew's right. And it's not because Josh Okogie went 4 or 5 from beyond the arc. It's because of what I saw from TJ Warren with the second team unit, which I mentioned earlier, that I really think that his ability to rebound, to score is more valuable to that unit than I think Josh Okogie's defense would be. And I think Josh Okogie is a first team unit guy, is that you need that fuck shit up guy on your first team unit, and he is your fuck shit up guy. So what are your thoughts on that, Suns Geek?
That's an incredible question, and I don't know if this is a good problem to have or a bad problem. And I'm trying to say this as positive, like as positive as I can. Is this truly like the Phoenix Suns' weakness, like having a Josh Okogie, for example, beat you? You know what I mean? Because he had 4 threes tonight.
Yeah.
And you guys remember the Dallas game? Ish Wainwright pretty much saving us in the fourth quarter. He was
because
great
Okogie was 0 for 8.
Exactly. And this goes back to the bench talk, man. And I'm telling you, like when the bench gets going and all that, but like I will say this, if Josh Okogie wants to be that 5th starter, and I would be open to that. I'm kind of torn in between him and Tory Craig right now. And I've also talked about this on my channel, but I just think Josh Okogie has to be a little bit more consistent. I'm not saying he has to give you 14 points on 4 made threes every single game, although that would be very nice, but just being a little more consistent from those corner threes. Because we all know what he does on defense. We talked about the offensive rebounding, yada, 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 but being just a little more consistent night in and night out. And that goes really for her entire team, man. I don't really know if that answers your question necessarily. And again,
well, sounds
Matthew,
like you're on the fence, right?
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I was just going to say, Matthew kind of talked about Tory Craig earlier and like getting sent to the bench and how he plays a little different. Like they're going to have to adjust to this and we're going to need more games. And this is why I wish we had like 10 extra games to figure this out, man. That would be amazing because we could see what a Tory Craig is going to be like off the bench or whatever the case may be. But I'm honestly torn because both of them deserve to be a starter. But I think it also goes back to the matchup talks that we talked about. I mean, do you start a Josh Okogie in the first round against, I don't know, let's say the Clippers, for example, but what about the Nuggets series if we play them? And I don't know. I really don't know.
So like Natalie and Bruglia, you are torn. Matthew, where are you at on this?
You know what? If it's the matchup thing, man, Monty better not do that because we just got done talking about how these guys had to adjust coming off the bench, and they really do. If Monty's going to go one series and play Craig and then the other series play Okogie, that's just going to mess it up. I don't remember one time this year where Okogie went into a game and I'm like, oh, look at the mismatch. That guy definitely has the advantage over Okogie. It's never happened, dude. Okogie can hold his own against anybody, unless it's like a big center, of course. He can hold his own against the longer, lanky guys, the bigger dudes, the little quick ones. Like he can make sure that he should hold his own spot in the starting lineup. And if Monty wants to do matches based on size, that's going to screw it up. I think Okogie has to stay there. Craig needs to get used to it, like I said, because during the year, he had to get adjusted again after he was starting. So if he's going to do that and then maybe throw TJ in there and TJ is just like off, it makes a big difference, man, especially if Chris Paul is always talking about like, yeah, if I'm coming out of the game at a 6-minute mark or playing the whole first quarter, that is huge for me. It takes me time to get used to that. You don't realize that it does sitting here watching, but when they actually say it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? It's a whole routine for them. And Okogie can do it. He can basically hold his own against anybody, but offensively, what he does, and even defensively, obviously, he gives us just extra opportunities, right? Drawing charge, grabbing the rebound, just the little things that he can just like get a quick turn in the momentum. But also, like, if this team's rolling, it's like, oh, here's an extra possession for you, right? Okogie got it for us. Like, he's that guy. He's like the extender. I always talk about the extenders off the bench where they'll come in and extend the leads, but this guy just gives our offense more opportunities to put the ball in the hoop. And I think that's exactly what this first team offense is looking for. So don't fuck it up, Monty. Like,
yeah, agreed.
And let this bench right now, what I'm looking at, it looked terrible the whole game. Obviously, it finished terrible. But I'm like, just leave it and let them kind of mesh together and let Payne fuck it up on his own or whatever. And just let them deal with it. Let them figure it out. Don't mess with the starting lineup.
Well, and I think that at the point we're at in the season, Monty's shown us what he's going to do. It's J.O. And I think part of me morphing to this mindset, if you will, is because I'm accepting that this is what it is. And it's not the wrong answer. Because the other thing that Jo definitely gives you with the first team, and I've talked about this, maybe you put the offensive guy out there so you jump on him quick, and then it's all about who finishes the game, right? But even in that capacity, you take a look at some of the potential matchups, right? Let's say that we have to play this Denver team in the second round. Jo's on Jamal Murray all day long.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Jo's going to be our Mikal Bridges. Okay. Mikal Bridges has turned into Kevin Durant out in Brooklyn, scoring 42 fucking points tonight.
On like 50
he scored 42
shooting.
again?
He scored 42 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And you got, so Josh Okogie's turned into Mikal Bridges in turn. So it's just like, it's everybody wins.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like this is the way it is, though, as a Suns fan. I mean, you want him to succeed and have fun over there and win, but do you really want to see him become an all-star and stuff? I'm just saying, this sucks, but we have Kevin Durant, so it's all right.
Exactly. It's exactly right. Another guy that we got that's 7 feet tall.
Watch.
Right, Ayton haters, put on your hats and mount up. All right. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 4 of 11 from the field. He led the team in plus 28. When Bismack was in, the team was a minus 21.
Yeah, rough night from him, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of hook shots.
Oh, no, not even that. He wasn't.
Oh, he was like started 1 for 6, I saw. So I don't know if it was a lot of hook shots.
He was 3 of 8. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
They weren't calling anything on the interior in this game, man. They really weren't. They were letting him play down there.
They killed us in points in the paint. They killed us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Suns Geek, what'd you see from DA tonight? Good, bad, and different? Doesn't matter. Should we carry the hell on?
I'm on the I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I'm sure the Ayton haters are going crazy. I'm going to kind of cop out for this and say this also might be a good problem to have. I mean, Deandre Ayton wasn't that great. I mean, I think he hit a couple of shots here and there. Still somehow got 5 rebounds, even though he had the 5 fouls.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like the energy was there either, but like maybe this is a good thing. Like maybe DA is just waiting to be unleashed. I don't know, man.
I've been waiting to unleash him for 5 years, man.
I know. And that's why I'm like, maybe this is a good problem. This is what kind of... It's like it goes back to that whole DeAndre Ayton needs to be engaged. DeAndre Ayton needs the ball. We could talk about this for hours. I don't know, man. But I will say this, kind of like how we were talking with Josh Okogie. DeAndre Ayton needs to be more consistent, even if he's not getting the damn ball. I mean, 4 for 11, 5 fouls. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, he looked. So he looked like we felt as fans, right? When you saw who we were playing, and that there was no Jokic and no Murray and no MPJ and no Kadavius Caldwell-Pope, DA was like, oh, cool, I can just kind of chill this game.
Take the night off.
It's what it kind of looked like. Like he was kind of disengaged.
Slow.
He should ball out in a game like this, but it's just not in his DNA. So I don't even get mad anymore because it's like we've all accepted that's just not in his DNA, right? And he gets into foul trouble. He's making kind of some dumb fouls and whatnot. But I'll say this is when he got that 5th foul in the 3rd quarter, that's when everything went downhill. Because even when he is even when he's like stoned Ayton, right? Like he's hit like 3 gummies at halftime. He's just out there. He's like, yeah, whatever, man. We got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, man. I'm good. He's still better than when than Bismack out
He's
there.
a threat out there too.
He's a threat. Yeah. And once he was out of the game, man, everything changed. And I hope that the people who stare at the box score realize that. That's why I brought up the stats. I'm like, yeah, 8 here, 10 here, plus 28, dude. Like he was effective in this game. And they took advantage of the fact that Bismack Biyombo I was actually surprised that Monty didn't throw Jock out there. But it shows you that Monty's staying true to his rotations right now. He's getting these guys. He's like, you know what? There's going to be a time in the playoffs where these 5 are going to be on the court together. So I've got to get them more used to the court together. And if we're up 27 points and we're going to start whittling away that lead and allowing the opposition to do what they want, now's the time to do it. Fucking go for it, guys.
Man, that was like sandpaper to my ear in the beginning. It was like the opposite of talking dirty to me. It was some rough stuff to hear about DA, but the plus, I mean, it's a plus 28 just because first half foul trouble. Because I was wondering why he didn't even play 30 minutes. So it is Foul trouble.
It was foul trouble.
That's the thing, though, right? Like,
But it was foul trouble in the second half.
But you know how he plays against the Nuggets. What is it, 21-11? He averages against this Nuggets team usually.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing that and you're playing next to KD and you see, I guess, the way that they're playing in the first half, where they just looked absolutely insane. I think KD was perfect to start, but I would be like DA too, I guess. Just be like, all right, this game's basically in the basket, and that's the only reason I feel like the Suns kind of gave it up. I didn't watch it, but that's what always happens in the NBA. You see the tweet, like the Suns were up by 27, now down to 5.
Yeah,
that's the NBA.
You know it's coming.
You know it's going to come. Well, tonight I was like, maybe they just pull away. You know, KD was scorching, so ride that. They're not going to. I don't know, man.
Dude, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this.
I'll let it slide,
I'm glad they came back, man. It gave me something to talk about tonight. I was like, man, Suns Geek's coming on tonight, and we're gonna have nothing to talk about. They beat the living shit out of them.
Talk about the Coyotes, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just say this though. This kind of might have been a blessing in disguise, because to an extent, maybe besides that Dallas game with KD, we haven't really had like, and I don't want to use the word adversity, especially with who the Nuggets had out there, but adversity. Yeah. And again, maybe this is a blessing in disguise for DA. Maybe he'll wake up and say, I need to play all 40 or 48 minutes or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just,
hey, how about we just start the playoffs right now? Like, could we just skip these last games? Because this whole season's been a shit show where we don't know what we're watching, right? I talked about, like, if you're going to analyze each game and like have your notes and be like, oh, well, this is what I'm looking for when the Suns play the Timberwolves coming up. You know what I mean? Like, we had no idea. Like, who knows what's going to happen? So
even
I wish the playoffs,
it's
KD, soon though.
Matthew,
I need another week and a half.
We got KD.
Yeah, even before we got KD.
Yeah,
well, that's why we got him, because we're like, it's a free for all right now, man. You can just grab KD and win the championship.
Are you ready for this disguise?
The Suns Jam Session subreddit Stakeout.
See what I did there?
Damn it, I was actually looking forward to disguise, dude.
No, I just changed my hat. I got this cool new hat, man. Check that thing out.
Oh, that is cool. Wait, were you wearing that before? My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
it's hard to notice because it's literally like the same colors.
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
Suns colors, right?
Yeah, but this is the All-Star Weekend hat from Phoenix back in '95. And
classic.
Brand and I were talking before the pod. He's like, I bought that same hat, dude. I'm like, yeah, I saw it on like Instagram. I was like, shit, take my money. click.
That's cool. I gotta get a new hat. I'm gonna start doing the backwards thing though. I'm grown up now, so I'm gonna start doing the backwards thing. Let my hair show through the little hole.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
So you take one hat and you make it dual purpose, right? This is it forwards. This is it backwards.
Yeah.
See what you did there. So again, if you're watching us on Suns Geek's channel, this is something that we do on the Suns Jam Session, where we go to the subreddit of the opposing team to get their perspective on the game. And if they're talking any shit about the Suns players, I want to hear it. So here's some of the things that they said. Now, obviously, their fan base knew that this wasn't going to be much of a game. So it was actually, there were some pretty fun comments in here. Plus minus me watching one quarter of this game. Somebody says plus because you're a loser, probably like me. That's just like us in every Suns game, going back to even when they like sucked. We're like, I'm going to watch it all because I hate myself.
Because we're real fans.
Yes. Simmer of hope.
Yeah, there's always that glimmer of hope.
I
don't know what you said. Was hoping they could keep it a little bit fun, and they did for 5 minutes. But yeah, this is definitely a switch off early and go chill kind of game. Even the bench of the bench can't score. That's pretty funny. DeAndre Jordan is my dad. And then somebody said, he seems like a fun dad.
He does. Yeah. He was playing with, did you see KD trying to get those shots up?
Yeah.
And he was playing around. Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, you Brooklyn guys.
Yeah.
This one's, these things are so stupid, but they make me laugh. Reggie Jackson has different shoes because has a question mark. And then somebody's like, I'm Ron Burgundy. And then somebody's like, go fuck yourselves, Phoenix. That was pretty funny. Aaron Gordon and getting blocked. Name a more iconic duo. And somebody responded, Aaron Gordon and missing free throws. Because if you got to understand, if you're a Denver Nuggets fan, one thing that Aaron Gordon does is he gets the ball in some great positioning due to Nikola Jokic. Yeah. But a lot of times he'll be underneath the basket, and he gets blocked down a lot under there because he sometimes has bad positioning. I've seen him hit threes today, by the way, just pissed me off. Aaron Gordon makes me mad. The fact that he wears number 50, just like, you clown. Well, I didn't get 50 in the dunk contest, so I'll wear it as my jersey. So what if it's just weird?
That doesn't make any sense, man.
Somebody's like, so what if the problem has actually been Murray this whole time?
Oh no.
And somebody
Too
goes,
late for that, right?
LOL, maybe MPJ too. So not too
Oh,
much.
I
to
wonder who they
report.
hate more. It's probably MPJ. They probably get
It's
more
probably
frustrated than
MPJ.
MPJ, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jamal Murray is very cherished with the Denver fan base. I mean, they don't have a bunch of two guards in their history that you can pull back. In fact, if they win the Western Conference, it's the first time in the history of the franchise that they've ever won the Western Conference in the regular season. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Pulled off that disguise like a pro.
Big Dick Booker.
Yeah, I know it's 50 minutes into the podcast, but we're going to finally bring up Big Dick Booker. He had 27 points. Now, Kevin Durant had 30, which was 30% of our points because we scored 100, and I can do math. 27% of our points were scored by Devin Booker in a very different manner. 9 of 20 from the field. Devin Booker was 2 of 9 from beyond the arc in this game. He had 6 assists, a couple rebounds, a steal, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Thought he should have been there a little bit more. Should he have been? Should we care in the game like this? And what did you see from Devin Booker in this game? I'll go with the guy at the hockey game first. What did you see from Devin Booker, guy who's wearing a Coyotes jersey?
Oh, he was amazing tonight. Actually, Big Dick Book, started out hot, right? I just got some. Hey, shout out to all the Suns Geek fans out there that are watching us. You have to put up with us. So,
yeah, we're
that's my
forcing this one
analysis.
upon you. I'm sorry. And Suns Geek's camera just went out.
Yeah,
Look at he's
got murdered. Is this
Yeah.
this a horror movie going on?
Y'all
What is
still
this?
hear me? I'm having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we
All right.
can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna ask too. Like,
Is there a big storm there?
I don't know what is
Oh,
going
yeah,
on. My
is there?
camera's connected, but it's not working for some reason. I'm going to switch cameras.
Okay. Whoa, champion, dude. He's switching cameras mid podcast.
Gosh, does he have an assistant? Do you have an assistant, Suns
I
Geek?
don't know what's going on. Where'd you
What
get
was the
it?
question? We're talking
Welcome
about
back.
Booker.
Yeah, Devin Booker.
I gave my analysis when you blacked out, so now it's your turn.
I'll just say this. Because John kind of asked the question, like, should we be worried? This is kind of like the Deandre Ayton thing and all that. He was fine, but I thought he was a little over aggressive at times. I will say this. There was one 3-pointer that he missed that would have put us up by 30. And I'm not blaming Devin Booker on that. But I'm just saying, if he would have gotten that 3, I would have felt a little more comfortable. He was 2 for 9 tonight. And then obviously the turnovers. I thought he played a little too fast, a little too aggressive. But I don't know if that was a team thing, but 27 points, man. It's Devin Booker. I kind of was wondering too. I was like, we're 50 minutes in. We didn't even talk about Booker. What were you going to say, Matthew?
It would have put us up by 30, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, like there was one point where
I don't know
Booker
why that
missed
was
it,
so funny.
And there went the lead.
Yeah, okay. That's what Booker does. He always misses the most important threes of games. He actually does. At the beginning of this year, he was better
That's
at it,
why I
but he usually
referenced
misses those big threes that are just like, oh, fuck yeah, like tear the house down threes.
I feel
don't
like
really-
the beginning of his career was missing game-winning 3-pointers against the Denver Nuggets, and I was at every game.
I don't really know where I was going with my rant, but I'm just saying I'm
Right, I
not too
didn't know
concerned
either.
about Devin Booker. He has nights like this where he's a little, quote, inefficient, but still gets points. It's Devin Booker, man. I think he'll be okay.
Well, I hope he's going to be okay. He's definitely Armani
I
Booker.
hope so.
I hope so. I hope so, Bobby. But it brings me to some trivia.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
Okay, here we go. Devin Booker, with his 27 points tonight, is now averaging 28.14 points per game in 50 games played. He's got 5 games left. How many points per game does he need to average to surpass Tom Chambers' record of 29.17 points? Suns Geek, you're a teacher. What's the answer?
Wait, I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the actual question?
How many points per game does he need to average in his last 5 games to surpass Tom Chambers' record of 27.17 points? He needs to average 27.18 points for the season to set the single season record.
28.
30.
Nope.
I
He needs to average 17.58 points per game for the
knew it
remainder of
was
the season.
lower. I knew it was
That's it?
lower.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's over it right now. He's over it by almost
Okay.
an entire point. Now the question becomes, it'll be 55 games played for Devin Booker. Does it count? Because he has to end the season with 1,495 points to average more than Tom Chambers did. Yeah, but Tom Chambers in 1989/90 scored 2,201 points because he played like every fucking game. 81 games of the 82.
I believe it should matter, right?
Do we as Suns fans count?
Yes, I do. Only because he has a real shot to make like an All NBA team this year, even though with the 55 games. So if that counts, then this record definitely should count. Just give it. It's a 1 year he misses so many games, right? Of course, but I would give it to him because he's gonna break it again in years to come. He'll be a 30-point a game scorer. I feel like
Kevin Durant will next year.
Kevin Durant will, yeah.
And so says Jay is correct. This isn't trivia. This is math. Let's hand out some Jam Star, huh?
Let's just go to the Jam Star. Jam Star of the game, everybody. Do. All right, Jam Star of the game. What if I like? What if I have like a shell on right there?
I don't know.
Like, hey, what's going on, guys?
It's the Jam
Did
Star.
someone put when I released that short? Someone put like how on Wayne's World when Garth has to host. I was dying laughing. I'm like, I thought about that too when Garth has to like. It's Garth, right?
Yeah.
When he has to host by himself and he's just like
frozen
going to the corner.
Yeah, there was a show where Matthew was on with Gavin from Aussie Suns Fan Podcast, and like I always run the drops. I mean. Brandon, you know how it is, and you. In fact, you've actually seen the inside of our channel and how many drops we have.
Yeah.
And so Matthew's always just like the whole time he's just like, "Where is?"
And I like how it's John. I'm like, John, tell me where it's at.
Yeah, because like I was like in the chat because I was watching. I was doing a fantasy baseball draft, so I wasn't on the show. And I'm like typing in the chat, I'm like, it's the third from the top. So if you click this,
Jam Star of the game.
Right, Jamsters. A reminder, wherever you're consuming this content, subscribe, rate, and review, hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching this on the Suns Jam Session feed, head over to Suns Geek feed and give him a thumbs up. If you're on the Suns Geek feed, head over to the Suns Jam Session feed, give it a thumbs up. If you're listening, thank you. This is our last one of the Basketball Podcast Network because that's dead. So we got to figure out what the fuck we're going to do now. We're once again free agent podcasters. Nobody wants us. But who you guys giving the Jam Star of the game to? I know that So Says Jay from Fan of the Flames podcast says Luka. What are you guys giving it to?
I'll give it to. It doesn't matter what I think. But
you know who it is.
Deandre Ayton.
You know who he is.
Kevin
Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Yes, Kevin Wayne Durant. I think that's an easy one.
It's always going to be him.
I'm
right?
okay with that. It's pretty much been the Big Dick Booker Award for 4 years. Like it's about time we gave it to somebody else,
Preach.
right?
Yeah.
Preach.
Next up for the Phoenix Suns, it's a 4 p.m. game Arizona time, right? 4 p.m. against
right after we dye eggs at 2:00.
That's correct. We will be dyeing eggs at 2:00. That's the family. That's what the
mandatory.
That's what the family's up to. Yeah, we got to be there. I told Shannon, I'm like, oh well, I can make it. She's like, you're not telling me. You're going. I was like, yes.
You better show up. Because I'm not doing a pod by myself again. I'm just joking. That was probably like one of the worst I've ever done. It was just, I actually had a migraine that day too.
Oh,
and
God.
like, I seriously, I know. And I had to like watch it. It was just a shit show night, but it was funny. But anyways.
It was high comedy.
Guys,
OKC Thunder. Okay. They lost today.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Somebody's happy that the Thunder lost. No idea why, but he's yes.
Just a confident yes once in a while. When you don't watch the game, you're just like, hey, yes.
Agreed.
I agree.
But with that loss, that drops them to the 10th overall seed in the Western Conference. They are a half game above the Dallas Mavericks. So obviously it's going to be a game that's going to be very important to a team that's scrappy. A team that the Suns are 2-1 against this year, but obviously we lost last time we played them. And you have to, it'll be interesting because the Dallas Mavericks play tomorrow against the Miami Heat in Miami, and then they play also on Sunday, which is when the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder is against Atlanta. So Dallas and Oklahoma City are kind of like battling it out for that 10 seed, which is hilarious, by the way. But what do you guys see from this game? Is this a game now knowing that the Suns, are starting to develop a little bit of a comfortable lead. We had a 1.5 game lead over the Clippers. Is there any pull off the gas pedal, or the Suns just say no? We're building chemistry, we're building
rolling, dude.
rotations, and we're just gonna
rolling.
keep it rolling.
They're rolling right now. They're not. I don't think they can be stopped by an OKC team. OKC should have been playing SGA back-to-back games. They wouldn't be in this situation, right? So it's their own fault. So we're just going to take care of business and help Dallas out a little bit, right? We kind of want to see Dallas in the playoffs. I'd rather see them than okay. Well,
there's no
know.
way we're going to see them. We're the 4 seed. Like there's
No,
way.
I don't mean I want to watch them.
suck.
Oh, watch them in the play. I don't want to watch Mavericks in the play. Mavericks
And
are
they
so
suck.
Gross. Yes, get it, Suns Geek. He's like,
Yeah,
"And
I don't
they
know. I want
suck."
to see Kyrie and Lucas see what they can do.
I don't. I want to laugh. I want
Because
to
it's
laugh
either going to be
heartily.
really, really funny to watch because they're just going to fall in pieces, but then that would be like an easy series for whoever they play.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
make them work.
yeah.
So, Suns Geek, when we talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, seeing as you're wearing a Suns hat that kind of looks like an Oklahoma City Thunder hat, what are your thoughts?
I think due to what happened in the second half, that the Suns just need to go out there and kick their ass. Excuse my language, but it's true. We need to go out there. And you know what? I don't mean to pick on Deandre Ayton right here, but I'm serious. Their tallest guy's what, 6'9", I believe.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go out there and have a better game than he did tonight, oh boy. But they will play scrappy. They are young. They're fast. They play hard every single game. But I think, again, due to what happened tonight, we're going to go out there, focus, tunnel vision, and get the win.
That's what these last games are about for the Phoenix Suns. We got 5 of them.
Yep.
These 5 games are, again, fine-tuning those rotations, fine-tuning their offensive and defensive sets, get more chemistry. I mean, there were some fast breaks in the first half that looked beautiful from the Phoenix Suns. That those wraparound passes that Durant has, and Ayton's all of a sudden, he's like, oh, shit, I got the ball. I can just, more of that. We just need more of that. The nice thing as a Suns fan is if OKC comes out and they've got that fire because they're fighting for that final spot, we have a little bit of leverage now. We don't have to sit there and win every game. We've won. We've done what we're supposed to do. We just went 9-6 in the month of March. Okay. 5-0 in the month of March with
KD
Durant. Okay. Which means we were 4-6 without him. It was our second best month of the season. November, we were 10-5. We were 9-6 this month. Okay. We're trending in the right direction. So even if you lose to OKC, it's not the end of the world. I'm actually I'm okay if we lose to him because I don't want to see Dallas in. I just want us to progress and get better. So it's not live and die with every possession like it has been for the past 2.5 weeks. We're dropping below the Clippers, and now we're above the Clippers. Now the Warriors. I mean, it's just like we have a 1.5 game lead with 5 to play. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, they need the competition, though. I mean, the Thunder are struggling to get in, so that's going to be good for the Suns. I'd rather see a win. I know a loss, it wouldn't really...
Always.
1.5 games this tight. We're probably going to lose a few games. It's funny because we play the Clippers last game of the season, so I feel like that's going to be a game where the Suns just sit out their guys. So these games, they need to take advantage of with the competition and just play strong, man. I think Suns Geek said earlier in the pod, these guys don't rest. The whole waste management, or what is it called?
Load management.
I know.
I had a brain fart on that earlier.
The whole thing, they're not going to probably buy into, especially this season where I feel like every game just really matters for that chemistry.
Yeah. I was
Anything
just
else
say,
you want to talk about? Yeah, what do you got, Geek?
I'm sorry, just real quick.
Go for it, man.
John, a long time ago, you said you were like, the time that the Phoenix Suns are going to get their revenge on the Dallas Mavericks for Game 7 in that second round series is when we beat them in the playoffs. So I won't spend too much time on this, but there is a side of me that does want us to see them in the playoffs this year. But at the same time, if they don't even fucking make it, that's even better. I'm not saying that's the revenge, but that would be pretty freaking sweet. That's all I wanted to say.
To your point, the only way that we see the Dallas Mavericks is if they get into the play-in, they earn the 8 seed because they can't earn the 7 seed. They're not gonna get that high. All right, they'll be the 9 or the 10. The 9 or the 10 plays, and whoever wins that game plays the loser of the 7-8, and whoever wins that matchup is the 8 seed. The only chance we have at them is if they win that 8 seed and then they beat Denver, right? And then we play them in the second round. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm okay with that too. I don't want to play Dallas just because of fucking last time. I still have trauma. Like I woke up in
me
the
too.
middle of the night the other day. I was crying and I don't know why. There was urine on the bed. I think it was the dog, but like you just got to kind of own it sometimes. And I was just like, you know, it was just had nothing to do with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm just a grown man who pisses in the bed. But anyways, I'm okay if that's how we get revenge. But I also just love seeing Dallas fans just, you know, like all that shit talking and somebody.
Game 7.
Oh
Where
yeah.
where do you see that shit? I
The
never
Lucas
see it. Is it just on
stare.
Twitter?
It's all over. Yeah, it's
Twitter.
all over Twitter, dude.
All I
over
ever
Twitter.
see is like a Suns fan reposting something of like, look at like Game 7. That's all you have to talk about. But I'm like, who is actually posting that still?
Well, I follow all like podcasts, FF Moneyball, the guys.
So the Kardashians, like who I follow, like Love Is
they're
Blind,
not talking about
They're not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
All right.
they're not talking about Kwame and what's her name?
Oh, I forget the
blonde.
names already.
Well, the new one came out today, so we're gonna go watch it. We watched Love Is Blind. Love and Blind 4. Man,
I'm already on episode 3
of the
new season. Yeah, as
the
soon
one
as
that
I heard
came
it
out
was
today?
out. No, Love Is Blind came out two nights ago.
Love Is Blind 4.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm already through all that shit, man. I'm already out of the pods.
Oh, what?
Yeah, March 31st is when the second
dude.
half of the season. They do the first half,
Man.
and the second half comes out today. And my wife was pissed because the game was on and she wanted to watch Love Is Blind 4. I'm like, tomorrow, honey. Tomorrow.
Yeah, you gotta watch it all tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta catch up, man.
Yeah, dude, it's all about that dude Kwame, man. He's just like, dude, I love you, and she's like, I don't love you. He's like, oh, but I love her now. And then they meet.
Oh,
outside
wait, don't
the
say
bus.
anything yet.
You'll see. It's not like I get.
It's actually, it's the best show. Oh, I love this show, dude. Babe, you gonna watch it? Yeah. All right. We're gonna watch it after.
Are you talking?
Are you
talking to the puck? Your puck?
Yeah, hockey puck. Yeah, I didn't know it was gonna be such a menace. You know, you bring it home.
Your hockey puck.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
It has such
I
an
want to watch
attitude.
TV right now.
Little bitch hockey puck.
Poor Suns Geek. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with these guys? On that note, I think we'll go ahead and we'll get out of here. I'd like to thank everyone who's been firing off in the chat. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know, again, we're gonna AJW is like, I'm lost. Like, yeah, welcome aboard. Those who watch Love and Blind totally get it. But again, we go live after every game here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. Suns Geek, I know you've been doing it. How's it been going? How you feel? It's a marathon, ain't it?
It's a marathon, definitely. And I know that we're not competitors, but I got some good competition out there. The best I can't even talk. The best Suns post-game show, which is you guys, Suns Jam Session podcast. And I just wanted to say, guys, this has been an absolute blast. We got to do this again sometime.
Hell yeah. Playoffs are coming, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just real quick, I don't know what happened with the basketball network thing, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you guys. If you are a free agent, podcast network or whatever, and you are looking for somebody, please sign the Suns Jam Session podcast because both of you guys deserve it. You guys have been doing this for so long. You guys are the OGs of the Suns post-game show, and you guys deserve it. And again, we got to do this again sometime. This was a blast, man.
100%.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. And if you guys are going to do it, fucking pay us. Matthew, make sure you follow me at Darth Voida. You can read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow Matthew at Matthew Lissy. You can follow Suns Geek at Suns Geek everywhere. And Matthew, tell everyone what they can do besides fucking pay us.
Yeah, go home and love your hockey pucks.